Well, here's something that you can do in the back of a rear engine bus that you can't do in the back of a front engine bus. Did you know that many, in fact, probably most rear engine buses have a rear start panel, and sometimes that will help you get out of a bind? Let's look at some of them. So if you have a rear engine bus like this one, you will probably have a start panel in the back. And let me point out something. If this switch is in this position or rear, you won't be able to start it from the front. And that's a safety feature so that a mechanic working back here wouldn't have his hands or her hands in the engine somewhere and you start it from the front. So if you can't start your rear engine bus and it's new to you, first thing I'd do is come back here and make sure that this is in the front position. The rear start will often also override interlocks. So if you have cut out wiring in your bus to the emergency exits or something, and all of a sudden your bus won't start, you might be able to start it from the back by coming back here, flipping this to rear, and hitting your engine start. This one even has a throttle control, so you can adjust the throttle from the front or the back here. Here's another rear engine bus and a start panel, just to show you an example. One of these will be for lights. This one's unusual in that it has a key. I guess not totally unusual, but more often than not, you will see no key back here, which is something to keep in mind for security purposes. This is a rear engine Bluebird, so a good example of a rear start panel that you might find. Got compartment lights back here, engine start button, but this switch is the one that's important. Again, if this is a new to you bus, if it's in off or rear, you'll try to start it from the front and it won't start, nothing will happen. So make sure you're in the front position if you're starting it from the front, otherwise flip it to the rear. You can use the engine start, got a couple basic gauges back here, oil pressure and a voltmeter. Pretty common, might help you out. So on this particular bus, you have to put it in the run position, but you also have to have the key on up front. So let me turn the key on and then we'll start this from the rear here. I don't know if you can hear, but the low air pressure warning buzzer is going off up front because I've turned on the key. Now this is, she's a graceful old lady and it's pretty cold out, but we'll put this in the run position. I've made sure that it's in neutral. This is a manual transmission. And we'll hit start. And then this one, like many, has an oil pressure gauge, so you can make sure you're getting oil pressure back here. I just had to show you this. Man, this thing sounds sweet, considering she sat in a salvage yard for a little over 9 years, at least 9 years, before I was able to rescue her. But very little smoke after the initial start. Sounds great. This is a Detroit 8V71 two-stroke, and this is a 1974 Crown